and welcome to the Vigilante Dialogues. I am your host, Shaina Smith, welcoming you to the National Boardroom. If this is your first time tuning in, the objective of our program is to talk about community affairs and issues that affect our quality of life, and more importantly, for a change in conversation to the solutions. The last time we were here on the Dialogues, we had guests from the National Insurance Scheme Office, and they were sharing with us information about what this scheme is about. We heard about equal access to quality health care from birth to end of life for all residents of the BVI, regardless of ability to pay, and that all primary, secondary, and tertiary care is going to be covered. There will be no deductibles, 0% copayment at the community health clinics, 5% at the public hospital, 10% at private in-country facilities, 20% at private in-country, out-of-network, 20% at overseas, and 40% at overseas out of network. So there's a lot of things, good things in store for us with the National Health Insurance Scheme. I want to encourage everyone to continue to listen out to the information that is being put out to the public. And I would like to thank Mr. Roy Barry, Deputy Director at Social Security Board for the NHI, as well as Mrs. Norma Benjamin, who was here with him, that shared this information with us. The Vigilante Dialogues is sponsored by Smith & Associate, Therapy Works BVI, and National Bank of the Virgin Islands. Now, tonight's conversation, we have with us some persons from the Lavity Stoutt Community College, our very own tertiary education institution, that are going to share with us the great things that are going on up at Paraquita Bay. So I want to now welcome my guests, Dr. Karl Dawson and Dr. Sauda Smith, for being with us here tonight in the National Boardroom.
Good evening, Shaina. Great to be here.
Good evening, Shaina. Happy to be here.
All right. So, Dr. Dawson, lots is going on at the college. You guys have been very busy. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you tonight as far as what you guys have been up to strategically, accreditation, programming, a whole bunch of stuff. And Dr. Smith is going to share with us some great things going on with our youths and the different programs that you guys are running. So we're going to jump right into it. So what's happening at the college?
Well, lots, as you said, lots is happening at the college. But I think one of the things that we are pleased with, that a lot of the activities at the college will now be guided by a strategic plan. For a little bit more than a year, we had been doing some work developing that plan and consulting with persons internal to the college, that is to say our faculty, or staff, or students, members of our board, members of our advisory committees, as well as other educators in the community, members of the business community, trying to get perspectives on the college.
Okay, so all the stakeholders.
All the stakeholders, we try to get as many of them as we could, as to, you know, what do you see as the strengths and weaknesses of the institution, and what do you see as the environment in which we operate, to give us that sense as to the direction that we should be going. So we concluded that exercise earlier this year, and of course then drafted the document, which we then sent on to our Board of Governors, who approved it. And so we're really just a month or two into the implementation phase, where we are now trying to put into action those things which we planned. As far as the structure of the plan is concerned, I don't believe that is unlike many other structures. We have some broad priorities, four broad priority areas: one in student learning and success, two in the area of finance, three in community relations and nation building, and four in organizational effectiveness. So from those broad areas, then we have different objectives and strategies and so on that we believe will result in an improved institution, and one that meeting some specific goals in the next few years.
And what's the span of the plan? Is it a typical
It's a 5-year plan. It's a 5-year plan. Yeah. And within that, because, you know, as you said, things change so frequently, we are also will have review periods, a major review period midway through. We don't expect that if you look at it like at a pyramid, there's going to be more change at the bottom. At the top, where we have our broad priorities, more than likely those will remain our broad priorities. Then we start to get into our objectives. Chances are they will be a lot of our objectives, but there's a little bit more chance for movement there.
Yeah.
But then when we get down to the level of our strategies that we're expecting to implement to achieve each objective, depends on the way things goes, depend on our environment and so on, then we may have to make changes in those strategies in order to make the shifts necessary to
respond to the conditions on the ground, basically, because we don't know what's going to happen 2 years from now.
Boy, next month is a challenge sometimes.
Exactly. So that's one of the things because just the other day, actually, I was reading an article about strategic planning, and they were actually saying that strategic planning is dead.
Yeah.
But down in the article, they talked about strategic planning isn't, because it is something that is always important for organizations of every type to have their objectives defined and in order to give direction to all the activity that goes on from a day-to-day basis, so that, you know, at the end of a certain time period, you're able to look back and see whether progress has really been made, because oftentimes a lot of money has been spent over a long period of time, and, you know, you're still not able to get certain things accomplished without having some type of strategic direction set out. So that's very key, and I'm glad to hear you guys have done an exercise like that.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, with a strategic plan, I said there's that sense as to whether it's alive or whether it's dead. But with a strategic plan, it gives you a point to pause and assess, you know, what's really happening here. What is this institution all about? Are we on the right mission? This mission that we might have developed, say, 10, 15 years ago, is it still appropriate? You know, what should we be aiming for? The things that we thought were strengths, are they still our strengths? Or the things that we thought needed to improve upon, should we still be working at those? So it gives you that cause to pause, and that's always, that reflection is always a very, very useful exercise for an organization or an individual, actually. It goes across life. You know, that's my favorite 4-letter word, plan. So that's very key. So, you know, hopefully in the next 10, 15 years, I don't know if it's something that's ever been discussed, but, you know, we'd like to see us move from the stage of a community college now into a university. I know, you know. That's interesting, because that was one of the things that as we sought feedback from the community as to what is the goal, the vision, aspirations of an institution. And it's very interesting because as far as some persons see it, a community college is a young university. Like when you grow up, you'll be a college, you'll be a university. And I can understand why people may sort of have that aspiration, but the place of a community college is still very much distinct. Right, in terms of that it has a particular purpose as far as training, as far as providing that bridge to higher education. So you can comfortably and effectively and excellently fulfill that mission and continue to fulfill that mission and be exactly what you're supposed to be. Now, having said that,
I'm glad you brought that up, though, because that's a very important, a perception that we always have had.
Yes.
And I think especially with, we probably got that too from our neighbors, where
we started off College of the Virgin Islands,
College of the Virgin Islands,
and now the University of
the Virgin
Islands. And it's very interesting just to go a little further into the Caribbean region, because a number of schools in the region, a number of national colleges, as we would call ourselves, in the region, are also considering whether or not they want to become universities. A number of them are looking at that. And I could tell you, some of them, to me, are looking at moving into that phase under-resourced. And I hope that they would not fall into a situation where you left from something of quality and then you move to a next phase and it's no longer of a particular quality because you stretch your resources too thinly. But as I was saying, that the whole college going up to a university thing, and I said, I really don't think, I think that a college can comfortably be excellent in doing what it's supposed to do. But having said that, I always look at the HL Stoutt Community College here in the British Virgin Islands, and I realize the University of West Indies has a center here. But in other places, say some places in the United States, a community college can fit neatly in a box because down the road is a flagship university.
It's a big
down the road is the liberal arts college. So you can very much clearly cut out your niche. In the BVI, while I still think there's much scope within the community college mission to do a lot of things, you know, so it doesn't have to be that you're aiming to be a university. But within that scope, it means that because we don't have all those other resources around, some of the things that other community colleges might have left to the university or they might have left to the college, we will probably try to take them on. For instance, we have just started this year, or restarted, our Virgin Islands Studies Institute. And that's led there by Dr. Angel Smith. And one of the things will be on their agenda is research relative to the Virgin Islands, not broad research on phenomena all around the world, but as it connects to the Virgin Islands, right? Very connected, very grounded research. And again, if there was a large university down the road, we say, okay, well, that's not on our plate, that's on their plate. But in our setting, we have to say, well, if anybody's going to do it, HL Stoutt Community College has to do it for us here in the British Virgin Islands. We will try as best we could to draw on resources from, for instance, the University of the West Indies, because we are a part of that system. But we must also realize that, look, we have to develop and train persons and resource persons for that unit. And that unit is not necessarily going to be doing all the research. We're going to be looking at people like Shaina Smith and other competent resource persons out there who are capable of conducting research. That network, so that the work that we need to do, the things we need to investigate, the things that we are guessing about right now, Shaina, in this country and making huge million-dollar decisions about, right? The things we're guessing about, we need to have a little bit more concrete information. And I believe that, I'm not saying that the Virgin Islands Studies Institute will provide all of that, but it's certainly a step in the right direction and a step that I'm very, very proud of as far as it relates to the HL Stoutt Community College.
That's awesome. But I did hear about the Institute, and I think that's that was kind of like a side road, but it's very important to help clarify the role of the college in our community, because the scenario you just painted is one that's very unique to us here. Typical to what other persons might experience, and you're correct, because I remember when I went to university in Orlando, I mean, you had community colleges all around that fed into the university, you know, once persons had gotten their associate degrees. So there's so many different scenarios that have to come together, and we decide, you know, this is the role that HLSCC is going to play in this community, and continue to grow and expand in whatever direction, you know, it needs to meet the need, and not just the expectation of, you know, one of these days we're going to have HLS. Lavity Stoutt University or University of the BVA or something, you know? So I think that's a very important thing that we clarify there for persons, because I think that expectation is out there.
It's there. And I mean, the college is here to meet needs, so that as the community grows, and as, for instance, I believe one of the things that we are looking at or have as a point within the plan, two things. One, we're looking to see, one of the strategic objectives is about how do we get baccalaureate programs, access to baccalaureate programs for other individuals. We've done this in the past, partnering with schools and other places to give greater access to baccalaureate degrees. So that's one thing. That's to say we're brokering, we're assisting others to bring that here. But the other thing we'll be investigating is our own feasibility about delivering our own baccalaureate programs. So as we seek and rise to meet the needs of the community, then that's where the growth will take place. And if it is that we can see where in the future we will effectively be able to be an effective institution and broaden the scope of our mission to the things that would be incorporated within a university, then by all means, I believe that we will certainly do that.
Okay, great. All right, well, we're going to take a quick commercial break at this point, get a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back. So you're tuned in to the Vigilante Dialogues, and tonight we're talking with two of our doctors at the Lavity Stoutt Community College that are giving us some insight in some of the things that they've been doing and planning to do to continue to enhance our education system here in the Virgin Islands. So we'll be right back. We're back. You're tuned in to the Vigilante Dialogues. I am your host, Shaina Smith, and with me this evening I have Dr. Karl Dawson, our president at the Lavity Stoutt Community College, and Dr. Sauda Smith. And you're the head of Humanities, I believe it is?
Humanities,
okay,
yes.
Great. So, Dr. Smith, there are some other great things happening as far as programs I recently heard that you guys had a Junior Leadership Academy running up at the college. Tell us some more about that program.
Well, the Junior Leadership Academy is fundamentally based on the principles, the leadership development principles created by Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society.
Okay.
I think our Junior Leadership Academy is unique in that we have the students of HLSCC mentoring secondary students.
Okay.
We run on Saturdays. It's a month-long program, 4 sessions. We cover leadership philosophies, the traits of leaders, ethical leadership, servant leadership, goal planning, articulating your particular vision in the community, managing conflict, making decisions, and team building.
All of this in a month.
All of this in a month. It's almost an all-day workshop. The students come to us at 11 a.m. and they leave at 2:30.
Okay.
We have a snack. We don't have lunch. We keep people on their toes.
So they have a big breakfast.
They have a huge breakfast before they get to us.
Okay.
And we present the leadership model to them, the facilitators, and they break into smaller groups that are facilitated and moderated by HLSCC students.
Okay.
Because
these would be members of the Honor Society.
Members of the Honor Society. Actually, we had 2 students this year who were previous Junior Leadership Academy members who are not members of the Honor Society but said that they wanted to work with us in the Junior Leadership Academy.
Okay.
So we brought them along
after their
to work with us.
Previously.
They're now students
Awesome.
at HLSCC.
Okay.
They went through the pilot program that we had at the Junior Leadership Academy in 2011.
Okay.
And they're at HLSCC now, and they said, we want to be a part of this. Okay. We're not in Phi Theta Kappa, but we still want to be a part of this. And we said to them, by all means, come and mentor some students. So it's been a wonderful experience. The young people have come to us from all of the schools on Tortola, and it is our hope once we begin and complete conversations with the secondary schools on Virgin Gorda to start the program in Virgin Gorda.
Okay. So is this something they do once a year or once per semester, or how is it?
We're attempting this semester, and I think we're going to be very successful in running 2 cohorts, one on Tortola and one on Virgin Gorda.
Okay.
This semester, and next semester we're going to do the same thing.
Do the same thing again. All right, great. And is there a cost to this, or is this something that's offered by the college?
It's offered by the college.
Awesome.
In line with our strategic plan in terms of community relationships and development and nation building, this fits right into the strategic plan, because if you invest in your greatest resource, which is your young people, you're going to build your nation. So that's what, but we're going to let the youth build their own nation.
We build them and let them do it.
Indeed.
Sounds like a plan.
Indeed.
So is there an age range for this?
Initially, the first time we ran the pilot program, we targeted 4th and 5th formers. This session that just ended last Saturday was unique because we had, I think, 2 first formers.
Really?
And they were just great. They were great. They were great critical thinkers. They contributed.
Fully engaged in everything.
Fully engaged.
Business ethics. That's some heavy stuff.
I tell you. I mean, I was really pleased. And I'm glad you give me a little entry here, Shaina, because I wanted to say, I mean, so I would have said, you know, that that yes, the college put it on, but the college is made up of people, and I'm talking about all faculty members, like Dr. Smith and others, Deborah Hodge, Richard Georges, Dr. Cassandra O'Neill, and so on, who gave up their time. You know, who this is happening because they said, I'm going to give up my Saturdays. It's important enough for us to try to make this impact on the lives of these individuals. And as I'm proud of this, the children that are part of the academy. I had a little time to spend with them last weekend. And I'm very proud of all faculty members who have made this happen.
Made it possible. That is great.
Well, it's really wonderful, and I would encourage the parents whose children are in the Leadership Academy, come and see what we do. Come and walk around. Come and listen to the brilliant young minds. We did an exercise in making decisions on whom to choose. There's a tragedy in the community, and they had to choose who they would save because they could only save 6 people. And the rationale that these young people came up with were just, it actually gives me chills to talk about it. They were so
surprising, the maturity level.
And the critical thinking, how they were able to break down why this particular individual should be saved and not another
person. Yeah,
it was really brilliant.
Awesome.
Really
That's good.
brilliant.
See, there's hope.
Yeah.
Of course, of course.
Some people try to throw they throw the baby out with the bathwater, but I think there is that set that are gonna rise up, and I'm glad that this is something that the college has taken on as part of their mandate, because leadership is something that has to be taught. John Maxwell, he surprised me in a conference last week we were listening into, and he was talking about someone asked him if leaders are born, and he told them, he said, well, I would hope so, because I don't want to meet an unborn leader. He was like, do you understand that question? And it was funny. It was like, but for real, because it is something that, some people come with gifts and talents, but there are these things have to be honed, and basically perfected through training. And you start as early as possible.
And our young people are living in a world where they have to be able to make decisions and see themselves in the future. These are our future doctors, lawyers, as my son likes to say, in charge of my old folks' home. So we have to make sure that they have some skills and strategies necessary to make those good decisions and make the kind of community we want to live in.
Definitely.
And I think too, Shaina, that when I saw them in action, and I happened to be there for that exact session that
with the crisis,
about. But I thought about with the entire aims of the academy, really you're looking at as leaders, but leaders are influencers. That's essentially what leadership is. And really there are a number of persons out in our community who are seeking to influence our young people. But I think that the person that we are trying to set on the right track and put in their heads that, look, that I'm not just here ambling along in life. I have something within me, and that there's some positive and good things to be done. And I will not only seek to do for myself, but to influence others. And that's what I'm saying. The people who are on the right track, it's time for us to get off the defensive and get on the offensive. All young people need to get on the offensive and say, look, there are some good and positive things that we ought to be doing, and we're going to try to influence others in order to get more people on, more persons on the right track.
Shift the trend.
Exactly.
Shift the trend. And make sure that we highlight those things too. Because it's so often, these are the things that, they get a little time in the news for 2 seconds and then, it disappears. But it's really great to hear that this is something that is going to be there consistently as well. As far as continuing to crank out those future leaders, we could talk about it in speeches, but we need to actually be doing something. So I'm really glad to hear.
And I was also really happy that we had more male mentors than female mentors. Both times. So I know that people are often very hard on the males in any given society. But the young men were out there, they were on time, they were working with their groups, they were motivated, they were absolutely brilliant. Just absolutely.
That is great. So, and is this something too late? Well, after the first session, is there like a follow-up for them, or would that be?
Well, I met a parent in the grocery store who asked when we were going to do part 2 because they said, surely there's something else you can do. I said to them, well, we haven't gotten that far yet. And I guess that wasn't part of our plan. Our plan was to initially get it out there and do all of those things in a month.
That's okay.
But I guess, in the future, as we get more people trained, more young people interested, we will be able to offer multiple sessions of the Leadership Academy.
Okay, that's awesome. I love that. I love that. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Honor Society, because it's basically springboard what the Academy was about. Just a quick backdrop, because I don't know if everybody knows about the Honor Society and what it is.
Well, Phi Theta Kappa is the International Honor Society of the 2-year college. So it's only for 2-year colleges. Phi Beta Kappa is the Honor Society for 4-year colleges. It has four hallmarks: scholarship, leadership, service, and fellowship. So when you're a member of Phi Theta Kappa, you're initially granted membership or invited to become a member based on your academic achievement. Once you become a member, we encourage the members to be part of our service exercises, which the Junior Leadership Academy will fall under service and fellowship, because the young people are fellowshipping with their peers. And so we attend their conferences, and so every year Phi Theta Kappa has an Honors Institute. And what happens at Honors Institute, they have a plethora of speakers who come to speak on the honors study topic. And after each speaker, they're broken down into small groups, and the groups are headed by individuals called faculty scholars, and you facilitate the discussion around the honor study topic, the speaker, and how you take the information you receive back to your communities, back to your colleges, and how you provide service based on what you've heard.
Okay.
Every year, you must apply to become what they call a faculty scholar. And once they receive numerous applications, all scholars are brought to the Center for Excellence, which is in Jackson, Mississippi. Because Phi Theta Kappa is an international honor society, they asked, I think about 2 years ago, was it Dr. Dawson, about the feasibility of them hosting the conference in the Virgin Islands. When I asked them why they wanted to host the conference here, they said, well, you're our Shining Star International chapter. We've won several Hallmark Awards. Mr. Richard Georges is now the president, or the chairman, if you will, of the Society of Chapter Advisors. There are approximately maybe 1,200 advisors in Phi Theta Kappa around the United States, Canada, Germany, Marshall Islands, Palau. And Richard Georges was elected as the secretary and became the vice chair last year, and this year he's the chair of the chapter advisors.
That's an awesome accomplishment.
Incredible. Incredible.
Absolutely.
Because that number he's 1,200, you just said?
1,200 advisors.
All 50 states and several countries outside the United States.
If you don't mind, we smile. I tell them the size doesn't matter.
And last year, our chapter had the wonderful experience. Dr. Dawson will tell you, I called him in the middle of the night screaming into his phone because out of several thousand entries, our college won 3 of maybe 100 Hallmark Awards given. And we were really excited. We planted some mangroves with the help of Conservation and Fisheries and National Parks Trust, and the write-up garnered us 3 of the Hallmark Awards. We have an advisor, Mrs. Deborah Hodge, who was awarded a Distinguished Advisor Award, again, out of the 1,200 advisors. So they said when they thought about an international destination, it was clear to them that the BVI was a great choice because what was the word she used? I think we've exceeded in their programs, or we're an outstanding example of their programs. So, yes. So this year.
So we're the poster child, basically.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Oh, and we've had an international officer. They have 5 officers that are chosen from all of the destinations. All of the over 4,000 people generally attend convention. So we've had an international officer, their first officer outside of the United States and Canada.
Wow.
And Dr. Smith will not say it, so I'll have to say it for her. that distinguished person who did us so proud from HLSCC is Mr. Esteban Smith.
Okay.
It's no coincidence that he's a Smith. He's
Yeah.
Dr. Smith's son. And really, I mean, he was truly an outstanding ambassador for the institution, as vice president, as a Century scholar as well, I think it was.
Right, a Coca-Cola scholar.
Coca-Cola scholar as well. So again, a fine example really of what our education system here in the British Virgin Islands, both public and private, produces.
Awesome.
I think the most exciting thing for me about the Faculty Scholar Conference and the fact that it's going to be held here is that we have an opportunity to showcase our scholars because the location is the BVI, there will be BVI scholars and BVI scholars only presenting during this conference.
Oh, wow.
Dr. Dawson is presenting. Former president of the college, Dr. Michael O'Neill, is presenting. Dr. Charles Wheatley, Mrs. Eileen Parsons.
Wow.
They're going to talk about the culture under the theme of human expression. Ideas and ideology. How does a small college in the Caribbean apply for accreditation by middle states.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to be the only.
Yes, outside
outside of
the U.S. territories.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Wow.
How you take an idea like that and make it real, and how you create a college, because our college is a young college for us to have so many accolades. And they're going to take the historic tour of Roadtown with our Virgin Island Studies Institute. Okay. So this is a wonderful opportunity for us to showcase the scholars that we have in the territory.
Awesome. So when is this going to occur?
January 29th through February 2nd of 2014.
Okay.
And the scholars arrive on January 28th.
So you're busy planning away then.
Oh, indeed. Indeed we are. Indeed
we are. Wow.
And one of the some of the sessions will be open to the public, and closer to that time we'll send out a lot of information.
Okay, awesome. Definitely want to be there for that one.
Great.
That is a proud moment, though. I want to congratulate you guys on that, because that is something that, speaks volumes of the quality of work, basically, that you guys are doing up there, that is recognized now on an international stage, to the point where, we've been placed down front and center.
Absolutely. And Dr. Smith has been there pretty much from the beginning with an entry into Phi Theta Kappa. And I must also give props, as they would say, to my predecessor, Dr. Michael O'Neill, and the vice president at the time, Dr. Craig Washington.
Oh, yes, yes.
These were some of the persons in the early goings, along with Dr. Smith, who led us into this initiative, and I'm sure they'll all be proud to see the fruit that it is now bearing.
Wow, that is awesome. So how many years have we been a member?
Since 2006. Not a long time.
Wow.
Our trajectory has been incredible. Well, that's what they always say to us. They always ask us, where did you guys come from? How are you guys doing all this stuff?
Broke in on the scene and took over.
I said to them, we're small, but we're determined.
I tell you, that's what it is. Size didn't matter. Because they expected you guys to just, come in, be a little observer on the sideline for a couple of years.
Just happy to be there. With the doors open.
Exactly. And then on the 10 years, basically, you guys, you've accomplished stuff that persons who've probably been there for twice that time haven't gotten to that level as yet. So that is to be commended. So congratulations on behalf of the BVI community for making that happen. That is awesome.
Thank you. But I'd like to thank Dr. Dawson, because when I come to him and when we come to him as advisors and we say, Dr. Dawson, I think that we can do this. I think we can get this. And he looks at us and he smiles. That $1 million smile. And he says, you think so? I said, well, we're going to try. We're going to try.
Yeah.
So he always supports us in every endeavor. I mean, we couldn't have people run for the offices and do the things that we do if we weren't present.
Yeah.
So the institution supports us in our ability to be present at these conferences and meetings.
Yeah. Well, you have to be there to be in it, right?
Indeed.
Great. All right. Well, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to talk about accreditation, which you just mentioned in terms of one of those strategic goals that we are striving for, and talk some more about student success and what's happening on that end. So we'll take a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back. We're back, and you're tuned in to the Vigilante Dialogues. I am your host, Shaina Smith, and with me this evening, I have two of our leaders at the Lavity Stoutt Community College that have been enlightening us on all the great things and accomplishments that have been going on at our little institution. That is by no means little. Great to hear about the conference, the Phi Theta Kappa conference that's coming next year, so I'm really looking forward to that. And Doc, you touched on accreditation. So enlighten us on what's happening there with that exercise.
Okay, it's certainly something that we try to keep the community updated on from time to time. I would say, though, in recent years, we've been a bit restricted because there are different stages in the accreditation process.
Okay.
And before you become a candidate, really, you're very, very limited in terms of what you could say about the process. And in fact, that you are, in fact, have applied. They prefer that you not even speak about it. But in earlier this year, we received the word that we had become candidates. After the process of submitting our accreditation report, we've actually submitted more than one, but through the improvement process in this year, after the team visited, they then indicated that I said this year, actually last year, Sahud.
The 2012.
Yeah,
okay.
the 2012 visit. Then they indicated that the commission then looked at our application and looked at the team's recommendations and indicated that we were now candidates, which now moves us to a different level in the process. We are now able to talk more about the process. We get all the official correspondence and so on. So you almost say we're in the club a bit, but we now need to get full membership. And that's where we're moving to for the accreditation. So what is required of us at this stage now is to conduct a self-study. And that is one of the key things that in the entire process it's about. It's about improving institutions and not improving institutions simply by some external imposition of standards on an institution, but it's about how does an institution determine what is right for itself and the community that it serves. And once you've determined what's right and you set those plans, can you then reflect and assess how effectively you are actually achieving the things that you have set out to do? So it's simple. I mean, there's a lot of work, but it's really simple at that level. Have you determined what you want for yourself? And are you on track? Are you doing the things that are needed in order to get there? So the process, and some people are always seem, whenever I say it seems like people are surprised. This team visit now, we are in the self-study process, and the team visit will now be in 2015. So people always figure, well, it's always right around the corner, but the entire process was a lengthy process. And by right, because especially say for an institution such as ours, when we look at the things that have been associated with excellent schools, there are a number of those things that we were doing. But because when we look at it within the scope of the framework, the broad framework of the accreditation standards, we realized that there were a number of things that we were also not doing. So that we had to work on, and it was not something that would take place overnight, but we had to develop these things. If they were going to become inculturated into the institution, it would take some time to do so. So we're getting closer there. The process as it works at the college, there are 14 accreditation standards, and again, they want us to discuss them in relation to ourselves. So there are various groups organized to look at various standards at the college, and we will prepare a draft report. We review it. We have a consultant that works with us, Dr. Janet Smith, and so she will help us as far as reviewing that is concerned. And in fall next year, we will produce a draft of the self-study, and that will be sent to the person who will be the chair of our visiting team. The team, there will be a group of our peers, a group of professionals from other schools, mainly, I suppose, in the United States. And along with our vice president that's assigned to us from the Middle States Commission, that person, in consultation with us, will choose who will be the chair of that visiting team. So at that time, we will then send that report to that person. That person makes a visit in the fall semester 2014, discuss with us or report any areas that they think that we need to address or so, and really determine whether or not they'll be coming and you know, that person would perhaps rarely not do that, but really that is an advanced visit. So they are there looking to say, okay, look, these are the things you probably need to hit on before the team comes. To be ready for the team. And really, the process, it's really a supportive process.
They're not trying to get you.
They're not trying to get you, you know. They could
like,
get you.
That's not good.
Exactly.
You get an X.
That they are trying to support you, whether it's the vice presidents, the persons who have come on the visitation teams. You know, as they leave, they always say, look, here's my card, here's my number. If there's something that we can assist you with. They are not coming, and none of them will say they're coming from perfect schools. The persons who they select, every school has things that they're working on. So they're saying, look, some of them have come and said, look, you do this better than us. You know, so there's something for them to learn. But they also make themselves available that if there's any way that they could assist us in going forward, we would do that.
And so for those who may be hearing about accreditation for the first time, just, you know, what is it, the name of the agency or the commission that is supposed to accredit us, and what are some of the benefits that we expect to see from being accredited?
Well, we have sought to be accredited by the Middle States Commission on Higher Education in the United States. It's headquartered in Philadelphia. In the United States, I think there are 7 major, what they call regional accrediting bodies. And it's very important in the United States because a lot of, say, federal aid and federal dollars, student aid and so on, is tied to being accredited. A number of programs, grant programs that you can be a part of, it's tied to that. So now for us, though, that wasn't the driving force because we're not in that system anyway. But the accreditation system is a system that really provides a framework for improving an institution. So that's our first and foremost goal. How can we get into a framework, into a system that helps us to build our reflective skills and improve our institutions constantly? But there are some other benefits. Our students right now, in my view, have very little difficulty getting into the schools that they want to. A number of our students do. But this will still help that. It helps to raise the profile, helps for transfer and so on, and those purposes. It opens the door for further types of collaboration, though. Even it enhances the opportunities for things like student exchange, faculty exchange, and so on, so that, again, if students are coming from United States or so, they come into a school accredited by a commission that they're very much aware of what their standards are. You know, so it enhances the reputation of the institution. You know, so and even within the region, just having applied and going through the process, it already has been a benefit to us. You know.
Awesome. That is great. All right. So after 2015, is there a further step that has to be taken?
So after 2015, when, you know, we will be accredited.
Indeed.
In 2015, and then after that, it's a continuous process. It's not about becoming accredited and that's it. No, it's about continually meeting the standards, continually seeking to improve. So after that, there'll be a 5-year visit, a visit after 5 years, where there will be that review, and then after that, it will be a 10-year visit. You know,
to ensure that the standards are being maintained within the system.
Unless in some instances, if something comes up or so, you know, then you might do something shorter. But the standard thing would be after the first 5-year visit, then it'll be a 10-year visit.
10. Okay, that's awesome. But it's all that ties into now with the initiative of strategic planning, because again, it helps you set direction and put standards in place, or the framework, as you were talking about, in terms of, you know, how do we have a quality product at the end of the day. So, you know, we might think of it as just being a school. People show up every day, go into a classroom, get some grades at the end of the semester, and everybody goes home. But it is something that there's a lot of work and effort that has to go into producing, you know, a quality product at the end of the day in terms of graduates. So that is very key.
Yeah, and absolutely, because I mean, as I said, I'm very proud of our faculty members, because in the last few years, the concept, we always had objectives for students and goals, but we are now discussing it within the context of student learning outcomes, and really trying to ensure that we are very clear about what we're trying to achieve with students, whatever program they're in, whatever course they're in. So that is very, very important for the accreditation effort, but it's also very important for our goals as far as the things that we are saying, that when a student graduates from HLSCC, this is what they should be able to do, and the skills and attitudes that they should have. It's a trying journey, you know. It's not something that's going to be overnight, but I believe that through that accreditation process, we are being put in place the framework that helps us to set those goals and allow us to get the strategies to get towards it. Because it's, as you said, it's about the students, but it's the college just impact. You know, it's beyond our graduates. It's beyond our graduates. It's huge. I mean, the way that we try to impact on this community, the Junior Leadership Academy, which happens on Saturdays, but the number of other activities that we also, you know, and just coming up in this, just this week, on Thursday of this week, we're going to have a lecture by Dr. Gad Perry from Texas Tech University. And he is going to be, we've labeled it, you may have seen the ad about the rocky iguana versus the green iguana. Now, the rocky iguana is something very, very common, more common here, I should say, here in the British Virgin Islands. Of course, anegada has the a unique species.
Yeah.
But we've seen now, I don't know if you've noticed, but there is now an invasive green iguana that is now here. And
Running
I mean, I've always said all the days of my life living here in the British Virgin Islands, never saw an iguana. The first time I saw an iguana in the British Virgin Islands was in Virgin Gorda about 20 years ago when I was working at Little Dix Bay. And it was very infrequent. But now you're actually starting to see more and more frequently you're seeing iguanas. So Dr. Gadperry is going to let us know a bit about what's happening with that and what's the potential impact. Because whenever you have a new species introduced into an ecosystem, you know, there's going to be some impact. So he's going to, and I really encourage people to come out and learn about this particular environmental feature because it's very real for us. And some decisions may have to be made about that in the coming future. So that's on Thursday night at the Eileen Parsons Auditorium. I think it's 7:30 is the start time. So you can join us there. And as I speak about the impact on the community, we also have coming up the concert series. The concert series, we have an exciting series this year again. I have my little prompt here. On the 9th of November, we have Jungle Boogie. That's a dance group. Last year we introduced dance for the first time with a Chinese dance group. Well, the year before, Chinese, then we had a Cuban dance group. And this year we have more of a hip-hop crowd. Hopefully some of the younger persons would come out and really see that dance group in action on November 9th. Then we also have a college concert, Christmas concert featuring all college groups. And then the 18th of January, we have Caribbean gospel superstar Carleen Davis will be in concert at the HL Stoutt at the Eileen Parsons Auditorium. And on February 8th, just pre-Valentine, we will have some of the smoothest guys in the Virgin Islands. Some smooth singers. And there's some guys we're very excited about. Young Joseph George, you may have seen his videos. Mackenzie Baltimore will be there. And I think Kirk Adams also is another lineup. So
that'll be your VI talent show.
That will be a VI showcase, right? Just in time for Valentine with all the smooth guys. And then in March, we have a classical instrument presented in a non-classical way, black violin. So this is a group that, again, they use the classical violin instruments and so on, but they really use a lot of modern music and interpret the music in that way. So again, wonderful. And then on April 12th, we have our old school reggae star, Ken Boothe. He will be performing.
That's before my time.
Yeah. Some of you may know one of his most famous songs. Actually, I heard Boy George sing it before I heard Ken Boothe sing it.
Really?
Everything I own, I will give everything I own.
Really?
Yeah. So that's the guy that wrote that song.
Something for everyone, it sounds like this year.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Something
Absolutely.
for everyone.
So I really, again, it's another way that we really want people to know that the college belongs to the entire community and that there's something for you. Even this Saturday coming. On Saturday, we have our 4th race in our road race, 2-mile road race series. And, you know, again, the turnouts for those races have been excellent.
They seem to be growing every year.
It really does.
You see the results in the paper, it's like, where are all these people?
Exactly.
Wow.
So again, we just trying to ensure that the college touches each person in the Virgin Islands in some way.
And you know, truth be told, that's university status. Don't mind.
Don't
mind it. All right. Because there's so many things, and that's one of the things that I really enjoy about the college is that, you know, there's always something that's going on for somebody in terms of getting involved or being engaged. And you are one of those institutions within the community that really shapes our society, you know, through the different mediums that you guys present. So it is something I want to encourage everybody. Let's not take it for granted what we do have amongst us at Parakeeta Bay. I mean, we should never scorn small beginnings because you guys have launched off in an incredible way. When we look back at all that has been accomplished, I mean, we can easily say more should have been done, but at the same token, what has been accomplished is quite something to be proud of and to appreciate, you know, in terms of what you guys are doing. So I want to encourage you to keep it up. Anything else you guys are up to up there at Parakeeta Bay and need to share?
On the 31st
I was going to say on the 31st of October, the following Thursday.
Okay.
We have another exciting initiative, because we've collaborated with Applebee's, the law firm here in the territory, because there was a passion among some of the persons there to bring theater.
Okay.
Right? We wouldn't actually bring the live theater, but it's recordings of live theater from the National Theatre in the UK.
Okay.
And I think there's another exciting thing that is going to be able to draw a range of persons in the community in there. Dr. Smith, I know you were familiar with some of the lineup.
Indeed. As we were saying during the break, our literature students are going to be really excited about this, because they're going to have the opportunity to see things that they read. The series starts with Frankenstein, how appropriate for Halloween. It also continues with Macbeth, Hamlet. So, and once we get this up and moving and have a steady influx of interest, we'll be able to bring more, like Jane Austen's classics and all of the classics that are shown or performed rather at the National Theatre can be taped and videotaped here, and we'll be able to see them. So I would recommend that everyone come out on Halloween to see Frankenstein.
From the 31st, yeah.
Indeed.
Okay.
Yes. And Dr. Dawson, you didn't mention the Cuddle program.
The Cuddle program, that's a certificate in university teaching and learning.
Okay.
And really one of the things that I am also very, very proud of at the college, because it is about development of our faculty, right? A lot of schools, and I'm not just talking about our school here, because what we have done at HLSCC Stoutt Community College, and the percentage of faculty members that are now trained is higher than most any place that you will see. That is to say that our faculty members enrolled in a postgraduate certificate in university teaching and learning.
Okay.
You know, and where they were really becoming now to say professional teachers. Some of them had professional training, and even some who did still went ahead and took the course again. You know, so it's really, really positive as far as helping us to be able to not just envision great things for our students, but now we have helped our faculty to develop the skills to deliver on that.
Awesome. That is awesome.
It's a wonderful, wonderful program.
Awesome. Keep up the good work. That's all I'm going to say. And we're out of time. So I have to ask you our tagline question for everybody that comes on the show. What is your favorite thing about the Virgin Islands? You can't say the college, though. What's your favorite thing about the Virgin Islands? She seems to have a long list. Doc, what's your favorite thing about the Virgin Islands?
That's a tough question.
It is. It is.
But you know what I really like about the Virgin Islands that I don't necessarily sense in every place that I've had the opportunity to live, which is not that many. But there is a sense of, there's a little bit of a egalitarianism, you know, that equality that I kind of like. I like to know that the manager of the bank house is here, and the person who cleans the bank house is right there. You know, I love that because it helps to tear away sort of false pretenses among people, right? And say, look, because I mean, my philosophy is
keeps us humble.
I can learn from anyone.
There's
no one that I believe that I cannot learn that doesn't have a lesson for me. And if I keep myself open to that, and I believe that that's, I'm not saying that we haven't shifted a little bit from that, but I'm saying that when we talk about recapturing our culture, I'm saying, look, that's what we need to recapture. That is all, you know, in a sense, to put on no airs and all of that, you know. All of us are one people, and we can all help each other, you know. And to me, that's what I liked about the Virgin Islands.
Okay.
I think I like, well, I of course am not a Virgin Islander. I was fortunate enough to marry a Virgin Islander and live here and call this my home. But I think what I like the most is that people here are proud to be from here. You know, you go other places in the world and people don't love their country as much as Virgin Islanders love their country. And I'm always very impressed by that. And when you live here, you can't help but be impressed by the fact that people love their country. They love home.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I like that. That's two different answers. I usually get the beach. So that's good. You know, and that's the thing is like you always have some aspect. Everybody has a different perspective on it. So you start to appreciate more, even more about it. You know, because I can relate to what you're saying. I can relate to what Doctor is saying, because you go to the States and there are certain, you know, elite communities that you can't go into because you're not making enough to live there. But here it's like everybody has to live and work together at the end of the day. So, you know, it keeps us humble. It keeps us humble. Yeah. So that's awesome. All right, well, Dr. Smith, Dr. Dawson, I want to thank you guys for being here and sharing with us all the great things that is happening up at our community college. And again, you know, I am proud to know that our institution of learning is up there making great things happen. I look forward to hearing more from you guys. Come through anytime. Let us know, you know, when you get the accreditation certificate.
Alrighty.
So we can know for sure, you know, it happened. And all that planning and hard work were paid off. So that's great stuff. All right. You're tuned in to the Vigilante Dialogues that is proudly sponsored by Smith & Associates, Therapy Works BVI, and National Bank of the Virgin Islands. If you would like to be a sponsor or a guest on our program, you can call us here at the studio at 494-7815. Also, forgot to mention, you can watch us online at cbnbvi.com. Whatever is on TV, it happens live on the website. And we're on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. I don't think everybody caught that we changed our time. So Thursdays at 8 p.m. and we rebroadcast on Sundays at 6 p.m. So until next time, I'm your host, Shaina Smith, saying let's continue the change in conversation for a high quality of life in our beautiful Virgin Islands. Good evening.